Hi everyone, and welcome to this month's Houston Theater Beat. I'm your host, John Lazo. This month, in our Backstage segment, we have a wide-ranging interview with local theater critic Buzz Bellmont, who will discuss what critics look for when they write about the shows that you go to see. In Performance this month takes me to the North Side and the Houston Family Arts Center, where some incredibly talented actors are putting together a great production of Crazy for You, featuring the music of George Gershwin. And in our regular features, the Marquee will tell you about shows from Conroe to the East End and everywhere in between. And Harley has a very cool selection for us in this month's Harley's Hot Ticket. So let's get started. Hi everyone, and welcome to this month's Backstage segment. I'm very pleased and very proud to welcome to Houston Theater Beat my guest this month, Buzz Bellmont. Buzz writes a blog, a featured blog, which is available on cron.com, which is called Buzz Bellmont, the Critic's Critic. And Buzz is here to share information with us today about what it's like to engage in theatrical criticism and actually review plays. And Buzz, welcome to Houston Theater Beat.
Thank you so much, John. It's great.
I think everybody would be interested in, the Houston Theater Beat audience would be interested in knowing a little bit about what critics do reviewing of shows. I think there's a perception that you all just say, this is good and this is bad, and actually there's a lot more to it than that. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you became interested in theater criticism.
Oh boy, that goes so far back. What most people don't know is that I have more training as an actor and as a performer than I do as a theater critic. I was an actor. I did about 6 Theater Under the Stars shows in the 70s. I worked at stages. I did 3 shows in a row at stages in 1982 when they were downtown at the on Franklin Street at the old Magnolia Brewery building in the basement. And most people think of me from those days as an actor, a musical director, and even sometimes a director. Toward the end of the 80s, I didn't necessarily grow tired of being in theater, but I just thought, why don't I had an opportunity to take a job as a critic, a print critic, of course it was all print back then, for a little inner city paper called Public News. And I worked for 2 years as a theater critic, and people seemed to really like what I did. For the first time, somebody who really understood the theater was a critic. I mean, so I critiqued from an actor's point of view, from a person's point of view that had been in the theater. So I cover almost every aspect of theater because working in the theater, I know that it's just not one element that makes a show. It's all the elements working together to make this beautiful piece, or not so beautiful a piece if all of the things don't match up correctly, which is the director's job.
Right. So how do you decide which plays that you're going to see and which plays to review, and I know that you see a lot of theater.
Mm-hmm.
About how many plays do you think that you see during the course of an average season, and how do you pick and choose?
Well, it would be wrong of me to choose theater based on what I want to see, because when I began writing for cron.com, I wanted to promote theater in general in Houston. I wanted to be the guy that sort of reviewed the smaller theaters that couldn't afford the budget to advertise, to promote these smaller theaters, and to support the theaters that are already in effect in Houston that have a lot of money. You know, I don't feel it's right for me to pick and choose what I want to see. So I get so many press releases, and I basically try to fit them all on my calendar. I think I see over 150 productions a year.
Wow.
I know I see more than any other critic in town, and I love it. It keeps me keeps my writing tools sharp. Having to come out with a review in a very short period of time.
Now, when you go to see a play, you're looking at it through the critic's eye when you're actually planning on writing a review. So what elements are you looking for? You mentioned before that a lot of the responsibility, of course, lies with the director. I think everyone acknowledges
Absolutely.
that. But what elements do you look at in a play when you know that you're going to be reviewing it?
Well, in effect, this is one reason that I started reviewing, because I was familiar with all the current critics in town, and I wasn't happy with the way they were reviewing things. In fact, I consider what most critics do in this town a review. They are doing a synopsis of the show, which is usually very long. My synopsis is very short. Number one, I'm online, and I just feel that my crowd doesn't necessarily need to know from me what the show is about. Of course, I'm going to work that in when I describe the acting and when I describe the play, but people who are online can go to Wikipedia and get all the information they need about the show,
Sure.
about the play, without it being funneled through a critic's eye, my eye. So I don't spend much time on synopsis. I think the first thing I do is I figure out, what is the playwright saying? How is he saying it? He or she. Are they successful in getting this message across? Does some of it work? Does some of it not work? How does it all fit together as a writing piece? Okay, as a piece of entertainment for us, the audience. I like to think of myself as an audience member. I'm going to share a little secret that I do not do much research before I go to a play. Yes, because I want it to be fresh. I get all the press releases and everything, who's in it, and I like to know who's in it and who's directing it. And of course, I usually know the playwrights, but who the playwrights are. But I absolutely don't want to know on purpose, because if a play does not convey that on its own to me, then it has really not succeeded.
Do you have something, I think the audience would be curious to know, just out of curiosity, because the Houston Theater Beat audience, I'm sure, reads a great many reviews.
Yes.
Because they're theater fans, and they read you, and they read the other critics as well. Do you have a pet peeve? Is there something on stage that just sort of makes you cringe and go, don't do that?
It has to be bad acting. I mean, nothing can ruin a show faster for me than a poorly acted role. It brings the whole show down. It makes it difficult for the other actors who are good to be able to work with this person, because, you know, acting is an organic thing. I mean, we play off each other as actors, and when a person cannot be played off of, it's like you're acting to a brick wall. That doesn't read well in the theater, and it shows to an audience, especially me, who has the experience of seeing over 150 productions a year. So it would be acting, but you know, as I always say, if something's wrong with the show, guess whose fault it is? It's the director's fault for casting that person in the first place, for not casting a person who is able to do the role.
Well, the Houston Theater Beat audience, of course, will be looking for your reviews. Again, the best way for you to go and read what Buzz has to say about the shows that are going on here in town is just to Google Buzz Bellmont. And as he says, that's 2 Z's, 2 L's. And when you do Google Buzz's name, then you will see his blog. That's a featured blog for the Chronicle. And it's called Buzz Bellmont, the Critic's Critic. And you need to make sure that you read Buzz's column to see all of the shows that are going on get Buzz's take on them. And thank you very much for joining us, Buzz, to give the audience a little bit more of a sense that of really how much work it is to do theatrical criticism and to do regular reviews. It's not just saying good or bad. It's a lot to consider and a lot of work with the writing. So,
absolutely.
So thank you very much for joining us this month on Houston Theater Beat.
You're very welcome, John.
And if you'll stay tuned, what we have coming up next, of course, is our regular monthly feature of shows that are coming up all around town, and that is The Marquee.
Stage Right presents My Three Angels. The scene is French Guiana, a region where on Christmas Day the temperature has graciously dropped to 104 degrees. 3 convicts are employed as roofers by a family whose roof is in desperate need of maintenance. On the way from France is an evil-minded cousin to oust the father of the family from his business and his cold-blooded nephew who is jilting the father's daughter for an heiress. The 3 convicts, 2 of them murderers, the third a swindler, take the visitors on. You can catch My Three Angels at the Crichton Theater in Conroe, running November 30th through December 16th. Theater Suburbia presents Ethan Claymore. Ethan Claymore, a reclusive artist and struggling egg farmer, has given up looking for love or laughter, even with Christmas just a week away. Much to his surprise, Ethan is visited by the spirit of his long-estranged older brother, who, along with an enthusiastically meddlesome neighbor and the town's pretty new schoolteacher, is determined to bring the sparkle back into Ethan's life. Ethan Claymore runs from November 2nd through December 1st at Theater Suburbia. Celebrations Theater presents the Bebo Brinker Chronicles. Set in pre-Stonewall Greenwich Village, the Bebo Brinker Chronicles follows the lives and loves of Laura, Beth, and Bebo as they navigate uncharted territories of desire. Beth and Laura, secret lovers in college, both pine for each other, but before they can reunite, they find themselves entangled in the web of Bebo Brinker, a butch denizen of the bars with a soft spot for young lesbians fresh off the bus. Adapted from the 50s and 60s lesbian pulp novels by Anne Bannon, the play celebrates the era when the love that dares not speak its name began breaking the old rules. The Bebo Brinker Chronicles runs November 7th through December 1st at Obsidian Art Space. Remember, all dates are subject to change, so contact the theater box offices and websites for the latest information. We'll see you at the show.
Everybody, welcome to this month's In Performance segment, and today I'm at the beautiful Houston Family Arts Center facility, and I'm talking to the director and a couple of the cast members of Crazy for You, which is a wonderful musical that's being presented here at the Houston Family Arts Center. It has a lot of music that you're all familiar with, and it's certainly a show that you're going to want to come see. And joining me today is the director of the show, Sam Brown. And I have a couple of actors joining me as well, singing and dancing their way into the show is Kathleen Baker, who plays Polly, and also Richard Gomez, who plays Bobby. And Sam, tell the Houston Theater Beat audience a little bit about Crazy for You, why Houston Family Arts Center chose it, and what the show's about.
Well, Crazy for You is one of my favorite shows. If you're not familiar with it, it's a show that features all of George Gershwin's most classic hits, but rather than being written back when Gershwin was alive, it was actually written around 1990. But it has that same sort of golden age plot, boy meets girl, mistaken identity, let's put on a show to save the theater, that sort of thing. And I chose it, and HVAC slotted it into this time in the calendar year because we're getting into the holiday season, and it's just a feel-good show you come and see the show, you'll know 9, 10, 11 of the songs, you'll leave happy, you'll hum along, and it's just, it just puts you in a really just festive and happy frame of mind.
Sure, a real audience pleaser,
Exactly.
you would say. Sure, sure. Now, Kathleen, tell us a little bit about Holly. I'm gathering she's the gal in the show, right?
Yes, she's the gal. She owns the theater that is going to be foreclosed on by Bobby and his family, and when Bobby comes into town to foreclose on the theater, that's when they meet, and they have a bit of a rocky relationship, but in the end it all works out.
Sure, and you sing your dance away through all the rocky parts.
That's right.
And
Well, yes, naturally.
everything works out at the end. So Richard, tell us a little bit about Bobby.
Bobby is a man dissatisfied with his mother's dream of him being a banker, and he desires to dance and live the musical theater lifestyle, and he goes to foreclose on the theater and falls in love with this beautiful girl, and decides he's going to woo her heart by singing and dancing.
Okay. It's fabulous. All right, well, what we're going to be seeing is our performances today are going to be a little bit of Kathleen singing I've Got Rhythm, a very familiar standard song. And then we're going to be seeing also a choral number featuring Bobby, Richard as Bobby, with a set of beautiful chorus girls behind him who are going to be doing I Can't Be Bothered Now. So here come those performances.
Days can be sunny with never a sigh. Don't need what money can buy. Birds in the trees sing their days full of song. Why shouldn't we sing along? I'm a chipper all the day, happy with my lot. How do I get that way? Look at what I've got. I've got rhythm, I've got music, I've got my man who could ask for anything more. I've got daisies in green pastures, I've got my man who could ask for anything more. Old man trouble, I don't mind him, you won't find him around my door. I've got starlight, I've got sweet dreams, I've got my man who could ask for anything more, who could ask for anything more.
Bad news, go away, call around someday in March or May. I can't be bothered now. My bonds and shares may fall downstairs. Who cares? Who cares? I'm dancing and I can't be bothered now. I'm up among the stars, audibly things I frown. I'm throwing off the bars that held me down. I'll pay the piper when times are riper. Just now I shan't, because you see I'm dancing and I can't be bothered now. Dancing makes my troubles all seem time. When I'm dancing, I don't care if this old world stops turning, or if my bacon's burning, or even if Romania wants to fight Albania. I'm not upset, I refuse to fret.
He's not upset.
Oh no!
And he'll refuse to fret. Hello?
Take a message.
All round someday, in March or May. He's dancing and he can't be bothered now.
I can't be bothered now.
He's dancing, watch him shine. You'll have to hold the line. It'll pay the piper, when times are riper, all riper. Just now he shan't,
Because you see I'm dancing. Because you see I'm dancing. Because you see I'm dancing.
Let it go, make a run, play and march away. Who cares about the shoes and formulas? Who cares, who cares, who cares, who cares? He can't be bothered, won't be bothered, can't be bothered, can't be bothered now. Not now. Not now. He can't be bothered. Now, goodbye.
Well, thank you very much, you guys, for those exciting numbers from Crazy for You here at Houston Family Arts Center. Sam, can you tell the Houston Theater Beat audience about when the show's going to be running, how they can get tickets, how much are tickets?
Of course. Crazy for You will be running November 2nd through the 25th, which means it runs through Thanksgiving weekend. So if you've got family in town and don't have anything to do, or just want to get out of the house for a little while, you can come and see the show.
Sure.
Tickets are starting at $12 and run all the way up to $16, so it's very affordable. And you can get tickets by going to www.houstonfac.com.
Okay, again, that's www.houstonfac.com, which is the Houston Family Arts Center website to get tickets so that you can come and enjoy Crazy for You for the holidays. I'd like to thank my guests for this month's In Performance segment, Sam Brown, who's the director of Crazy for You, and also Kathleen Baker, playing Polly in the show, Richard Gomez, playing Bobby. Make sure you come and see Crazy for You because it has a lot of great standard tunes that everyone knows and loves, and I know that you're going to enjoy it. Stay tuned for this month's edition of Harley's Hot Ticket. Sometimes when we send Harley out looking for theater gold, he comes back with a fierce selection, and that's certainly the case this month. Harley recommends Flevin by Mickey Johnson, which is being presented by Catastrophic Theater and performed at the Frenetic Theater in Houston's East End. Flevin is the tale of Heaven, a disco professional laid low by the town's villain, Flame, who was left behind as Heaven achieved international disco stardom with the band Denim Shorts. Turning to hip-hop and Rick James covers, Flame and his entourage terrorized the townspeople in an attempt to reunite with Heaven, leading, of course, to an epic disco mall showdown. Told in a startlingly original style, Flevin explores the breaking up and reconciliation of a deep friendship gone dark. Flevin is unlike any play you've ever seen. It sings and plays, rhymes and raps, dances and roller skates its way through a Susian disco dreamscape. Johnson's unique voice is whimsical and pithy, heartfelt and hilarious throughout. Flevin is a world unto itself, a joyride in the truest sense of the word. Flevin runs November 2nd through November 17th, and you can get your tickets at the Catastrophic Theater website at www.catastrophic.theater.com. Well, that's all for this month's Houston Theater Beat. I'm your host, John Lazo, and until next time, I'll see you at the show.